What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got some more new Keyforge cards to have a look at from the upcoming Worlds Collide expansion. And just like in the previous video, we need to give mad props to the lovely people over at Crazy Killing Machine who have been kind enough to share these images with us. Those guys are awesome. Cheers, boys. So, new cards then. We'll start off with a couple of Shadows cards. And there's one here that makes me go, that seems too good. Trust No One. When you play it, it is an action card. You steal an Aember. Now, stealing an Aember is good, right? Stealing an Aember is a good thing. We play cards like Urchin all the time. An Urchin steals one Aember. This steals an Aember. I mean, even bait and switch nowadays only steals 2 Aember maximum. But if you've got more Aember than your opponent, you don't steal any Aember. So you can play this and you steal an Aember, and that is at least better than bait and switch. So, yeah, that's pretty gosh darn good. Oh yeah, but it gets better. If there are no friendly creatures in play, instead you steal 1 Aember for each house represented among enemy creatures, up to a maximum of 3. Now, I know what you're thinking, maximum of 3, aren't there always a maximum of 3? Even Mavericks come through as the new house. Yeah, you're right. But again, this is just future-proofing and being safe. We never know if there's going to be a mechanic in the future that will actually give you another house represented. So it is easier at this stage to just go to a maximum of 3. There we go. Plus, what if we have some kind of weird doubles format? It's easier to just go to a maximum of 3. Well, stealing 3 Aember is absolutely amazing. One of the cards that came out in Age of Ascension was Swindle. And Swindle is the only card we've seen so far that is both an Alpha and an Omega card. That is to say, it has to be the first and the last thing you do during your doing stuff part of the term. You start off by forging a Key of Fable, you do stuff, you draw until you got 6 cards in your hand, or potentially a different amount depending on whether there are other cards on the field. If there's a Mother, for instance, you'll draw an extra card. If there's a Succubus, you'll draw 1 fewer. The point is, it was so good that it saw play, even though it was the only thing you could do. Steal 3, that was it. This can be Swindle, but it's not an Alpha, and it's not an Omega. That is redonk. Now, to be fair, it's not going to happen all the time. Another card we saw in Age of Ascension was Proclamation 346E, which was a Shadows artifact that increased the cost of forging unless you had all 3 creatures represented, and that it's not that often that you're able to get around that. And if your opponent knows that you play Trust No One, now in a sealed tournament you don't get to look at your opponent's Archon card before a game, but in an Archon tournament you do. But if your opponent knows you play this, they're going to be very hesitant to play all 3 different houses. But then again, let's say they do play all 3 different houses, is that not kind of cool? Because they either have to play all 3, and then you get to steal 3 with Trust No One, and it's a common card, so it's moderately likely that you'll get multiple copies, unless the algorithm says that you can't. We won't know that till the set is released. Or they deliberately don't play one of their houses, and you get that advantage. You get to go, oh, fine, don't play one of your houses, that's alright by me. I like this card. Now, I don't like how great it is at stealing, and Shadows is already good enough at stealing, but just stealing 1 is a good card that was good enough to see play. But the fact of the matter is that this can steal 3. Stealing 3 is phenomenal. I mean, Bren the Fanatic is another card that can steal 3, except it's a creature that you've got to try and destroy, and really, you only steal 2 because you have to give your opponent 1 and then steal 3. And everyone loves Bren the Fanatic. That was putting in work at the Poland Vault Tours. This is a phenomenal card that is going to see a huge amount of play. But there's another Shadows card we need to take a quick look at, and it is Mug. And yes, of course it steals, it's Shadows. But it's not quite stealing, if that makes any sense. It gives you an Aember bonus when you play it, and it reads, move 1 Aember from a creature to your pool, deal 2 damage to that creature. And there are a number of different ways to play this. So let's say it's something like Obeyed the Grim. Now, as always, we don't know if Obeyed the Grim is in Worlds Collide or not. Might be, might not. Just an example. He captures Aember, but he's also got a skill that lets him discard it so that you can't get it back. Generally speaking, captured Aember goes to the other player when that creature is destroyed. So something like Charette captures Aember, and then you destroy it and get it back. But Obeyed the Grim captures Aember, and then you very, very quickly try and discard it all when you reap so that your opponent can't have the Aember back. Well, if your opponent's trying something like this, Mug can get it back. Mug can take Aember captured by your opponent's creatures, because it is move one Aember from a creature to your pool. The thing is, you can get that Aember back just by destroying the creature. So it's fine, but it's better to just destroy the creature that's captured Aember. But then again, maybe it's a creature with elusive that it's difficult to get the Aember back, in which case this will help. Or maybe you don't have any creatures. But this is really nice for capturing Aember yourself and then getting the Aember back. That I like very much indeed. So let's say you play something like a Charette. Capture 3 Aember, you know your opponent's going to get them back. You play this and you get one of the Aember. Now you do have to deal 2 damage to the Charette. So the reality here is that anytime you're using this, when you've captured Aember, you are making it easier for your opponent to get that Aember back by destroying the creature. So all of a sudden Charette only needs 2 damage to destroy it, but then again your opponent's only getting 2 Aember when they do. This is a weird card. Either you're getting captured Aember from your opponent's cards, in which case you could just destroy them, or you're getting captured Aember from your own cards, but unless you're getting all the captured Aember back, it's way easier for your opponent to get it back. Now, if we take an example of something like Dexter, this I actually really like as a combo. Because you see, Dexter only captures 1 Aember, and Dexter is a free power creature, but it goes back on top of your deck. So maybe you play this, deal 1 damage with another card, and then you move the Aember back to your pool, gaining an Aember with Mug because of the Aember bonus, and then Dexter goes back on top of your deck to do it all over again. If Dexter was a 2-power creature, I would adore the combo, though again, no guarantee that it will be in the set. We don't have a complete set list yet. When we do, I promise you I will exclusively use examples from Worlds Collide, but that's kind of impossible before we have a complete set list. What I will say is, this is a weird card, it gives you an Aember bonus, but both ways of using it strike me as good and bad depending how you look at it. And finishing off, we've got a Logos card to look at because we got 1 new Logos card and we need to look at it somewhere. Why not in this particular video? It is Self-Bolstering Automata, and it starts off as a 1-power creature with no armor, which is exceedingly weak. And then it reads, Destroyed. If you have any other creatures in play, instead of destroying Self-Bolstering Automata, fully heal it, exhaust it, and move it to a flank. If you do, give it 2+1 power counters. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, now this changes a lot of things. Because as it is, your opponent can play something like Throwing Stars or Whistling Darts or use Seeker Needle, and it's just like, nobody really cares. You know, it's so weak that it's rubbish. But then it essentially comes back on your flank as a free power creature. Now, to be fair, it's destroyed and therefore exhausted during your opponent's turn, so it comes into your turn exhausted such that you can't do anything, and you've got to wait till your next turn to actually ready it. If you pick Logos the turn after it was destroyed, you're still not using it because it's starting your turn exhausted. But my point here is that there's going to come a point where it's kind of a 5, 7, 9 power creature, and at that stage you can either just start smashing or reaping knowing you're not going down. Now this is only if you have any other creatures in play. If your opponent can destroy your other creatures and then this, then unfortunately you're not getting the bonus. But it is just destroyed. Doesn't matter how. So you can throw this at your opponent's creatures. So I can use this to take down something like a Dusk Witch, and then Dusk Witch goes down, and this gets destroyed as well, but instead it goes to the flank as a 3-power creature, and then it's exhausted, but at the end of my turn, it gets readied. This is a weird kind of creature that your opponent can take out fairly easily, but only under certain conditions, and it's another one of those creatures, and it reminds me of Zizix the Many, which again is a card we definitely are not going to have in Worlds Collide, because it's a Mars card, but it still reminds me of it, in that if left unchecked, this can get out of control very, very quickly. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Fun new Keyforge cards. That's what I think about them, but I'd like to know what you think about them. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where you can talk about all kinds of games with me like Keyforge, and do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio if you're in the mood for supporting the channel. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.